Hey guys, I got a question for you. As wrestling fans, and this is also a question to the insiders, Apter, Meltzer, you name it. Here's a question I have. Why start? In other words, why start these rumors? The reason I'm talking about this is because recently Pro Wrestling Unlimited reported on their YouTube channel a report about Asuka leaving WWE, walking out of the company. Now, they basically said in this video that that wasn't true, and that the person that reportedly said it was basically came back and said, no, that wasn't me, and it wasn't true, and that all my sources and information come from PWU Insider, which is one of the more reliable wrestling sites out there. So the question is, for anybody watching, any wrestling fans, why start these rumors? Why do you guys do it? I mean, ever since people started spoiling stuff on the wrestling websites, ever since they started doing that, ever since they started, leaking out and hacking images of superstars that they shouldn't be hacking or leaking out, stuff like that. My question is, why go as far as to start rumors that are not true? I mean, you start rumors even to the point that the superstars themselves, the men and the women, have to come out and devalue or deface those rumors. They have to basically detract what you're saying. Because when you come out and say, oh, this person's leaving this company, and then that superstar comes out on Twitter or on social media and says, no, that's not true, there's nothing wrong here, I don't know what you're getting at, I don't know why they're saying this. When you people do that, I'm not trying to be mean, but you guys make yourselves look foolish. I mean, I get it. I mean, I think we all get why people start these rumors. I mean, yeah, we always wonder why. Why start them in the first place? But I think we all kind of understand why. I mean, we question it, we still wonder it, we still ask it, like I'm doing now with this video. But we all probably know the answer. And that is basically that the people that start these rumors, whether they're wrestling fans or whatever, whether they're casual wrestling fans or in most cases possibly hardcore wrestling fans, we know why they start these rumors, or at least we have an idea. They start them because they want the superstar, whether it's a male or a female, man or woman, they want that superstar to be treated the way they believe they should be treated. In other words, with the people starting the rumor about, oh, this person reported Asuka leaving or walking out of WWE, not being happy and going back to Japan, The only reason they say that is because they want WWE to make Asuka as she was in NXT, which I admit they should do, but you gotta remember there's a big difference between NXT and the main roster. It doesn't always mean you're going to get what you want. I mean, look at Bobby Roode. People say Bobby Roode was more naturally fit as a heel, but yet he's being portrayed as a babyface. And people are basically still saying that Bobby Roode is more natural as a heel with his glorious gimmick than as a babyface. So there's always going to be a difference. Just because someone was undefeated and retired undefeated from the NXT roster as champion, like Asuka did, doesn't mean she's going to carry that same momentum. I mean, it would be nice if she did. It would have been smart of WWE to make sure that she did, but things are different. I mean, the same could be said for Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles and Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. Yeah, they may not be treated the same way they were in Japan or in NXT, in this case with Nakamura and stuff, but it doesn't mean they're going to leave automatically or walk out automatically just because Neville and Aries, just because Neville did. Neville walked out because he was basically told, hey, guess what you're going to do? What am I going to do? You're going to go out there tonight on 205 Live and you're going to job to Enzo Amore. Put yourself in Neville's shoes and kind of digest that for a second. You're basically being told you're going to go out there and have a match against one of the most despised, controversial figures backstage and in the locker room and possibly in the company at that time, and you're being told you're going to basically job to him. Yeah, you might want to take your bags and walk out too and say, I've had enough of this crap. Because look, I'm not denying that some men and women that come into WWE value wrestling above everything else. Like, they get the whole sports entertainment scenario. Like, this is entertainment. It's a soap opera in the middle of a four-sided ring. They get that. But they get that. They understand that. But above that, above all else, they value the in-ring competition. They still look at it and are trained as such to look at it as a legit sport. Which is why a lot of fans, mostly, like I said, hardcore fans, seem to want to start these rumors up about certain wrestlers leaving. Because they'd rather have an Asuka or Nakamura leave, go back to Japan, have these hard-hitting, classic 60-minute, 40-minute, 80-minute matches where the first pinfall comes within the first 40 minutes so they could just chant, this is wrestling, this is wrestling, this is pure pro wrestling. It's like, look, we get how you feel, but you don't need to start rumors. You don't need to start something that's not true, because sooner or later, like I said earlier, you're going to have the superstar themselves come out and say, hey, whatever this person's saying is not true. We're not leaving. We don't get why you're saying this. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, some people, I understand, have started rumors and stuff in the past about Roman Reigns. Some have even started rumors, and pretty much those rumors and stories have definitely turned out to be fake and false, of, oh, Roman Reigns got injured, he broke his leg, or, oh, he got in an accident, he's not going to be able to compete anymore, all because they don't like Roman Reigns. People need to stop these rumors. Look, we get it. I get it. I'm a fan myself. Dalyxman, Alex gets it. OTR Central gets it. Bill Apter, Brian Alvarez, Dave Meltzer, Chase Oliver, No DQ, Jeff Meacham, Aaron Rift, everybody that talks about wrestling in some shape or form or another, whether their entire channel is dedicated to wrestling or their channel, like mine, is a variety of videos that talk about every subject under the sun. You know, a lot of us get how a lot of you feel. But it's not the end of the world. Okay? You know, some of these men and women that have these rumors started upon, you know, about, oh, leaving or this or that, sometimes they're patient enough to wait it out. They'll be like, you know what? I'm going to wait it out. I know they got plans. I'm going to wait it out and go from there. And if nothing comes up, and let's say the contract comes up, they'll say, you know what? You know, I want to stay, but I didn't achieve what was promised to me, so I want to go back and go back to my home country or whatever, and go back to the Indies and make a living there, and maybe come back later when things are a little bit better. I mean, look at Cody Rhodes. You can't tell me Cody doesn't want to probably go back someday, but he's waiting until the regime backstage somewhat changes. So that way, if he comes back, he can come back as who he is now. He can come back and be as he is now. People, you know, reports are coming out that the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega are being pursued by WWE even before the G1 Supercard. The only thing that's keeping the Bucks and Omega from signing is WWE has to basically guarantee they could still be themselves as they are now. And that's about it. No changes whatsoever. Let them still be who they are now. And that's where basically WWE kind of shoots itself in the foot. Is when you bring these wrestlers in, these superstars in, men or women, both men and women I should say, you're basically shooting yourselves in the foot if you don't just let them stay the way they are. If you don't let Toni Storm stay Toni Storm if you're going to bring her to the main roster down the line, what was the point of bringing her in? If you're not going to let Io Shirai be Io Shirai, why bring her in? The point is, folks, I, along with everybody else that I've mentioned, we get where you guys are coming from. But just because you're angry about one thing doesn't mean you have to go out and start a rumor that in the long run is going to make you look foolish, because inevitably that superstar that you're talking about and spreading the rumor about is going to come out and devalue what you say and call you out about it. So the question overall again is why? Why even do it? The thing is, you got to remember, there's always going to be a difference between NXT and Raw, NXT and SmackDown. Depending on whoever's working behind the scenes of either show, that's where you can either probably feel that the character will either remain as they are, or they're going to be changed up to a point that you'll be like, yeah, that don't make sense. So, and and I get how fans feel about Asuka right now. The fact that she jobbed out to Carmella twice. Here's the thing. Carmella beating her the way she did the 2 times with Ellsworth's help is to build heat on Carmella, showing that, as I mentioned to Dalyxman in the super chat one time, that Carmella is a character on television that's being portrayed as a diva pretending to be a wrestler. Because if you take a look at how she wrestles, how she reacts, she is more diva-like than wrestler. Get what I'm saying? She is more diva-like than wrestler. So you gotta remember, part of her heel persona is she's a diva pretending to be wrestler, and the only way she can beat someone like Asuka is through distractions, either by Ellsworth, the Iconics, or whoever. That's about it. And I think you guys need to realize that. I mean, I hate repeating myself here, but again, along with everybody I've mentioned, from Dalyxman to OTR Central to Chase Oliver to No DQ, Jeff Meacham, Aaron Riff, British Fist, you name it, Apter, Alvarez, Meltzer, we all get it. We all know how you feel. But it's all about, in some cases, patience. And I know patience isn't a valuable commodity these days, but if these superstars are willing to work for WWE and probably wait for an opportunity, that was promised to them, then so be it. I mean, Asuka could pretty much hang her hat on the fact that she was the champion of the third brand, if not, as some people would consider it, the true A show, the true A brand of WWE. She was the women's champion, undefeated for 500 plus days, 550 plus days. You can't take that away from her. Again, you can't take that away from her. And besides, if Asuka was dissatisfied, you got to remember this. The men and women that compete in these matches, they sign off and agree to do what they agree and sign off to do the job in those matchups. You got to remember that. Asuka signed off to job to Carmella to build Carmella's heat. That's why she lost to her. Charlotte signed off to have Carmella cash in on her and then lose her rematch the way she did at Backlash to get more heat on her. You get the picture, guys? You get the picture? Kevin Owens, let's say he signs off to losing to Braun Strowman at SummerSlam, which we don't know about just yet. Just because Kevin Owens is one of the most popular indie wrestlers under the WWE banner right now, doesn't mean he won't job to Strowman, because it helps build Strowman's momentum as the new Manster in WWE. You get what I'm saying? You got to remember that these men and women that are darlings, indie darlings, international indie darlings, whatever, strong style darlings, when they come to WWE, just because they may, in your eyes, may not be treated the way you feel they should be treated, doesn't mean they're not signing off on, these jobs that they're doing. Because if they didn't want to do it, they could do what Neville did. They could walk out and say, no, I'm not doing that. But they don't, because they understand that if you're going to build momentum for a certain athlete, like an AJ Styles, or Roman Reigns, or John Cena, if you know that's going to help them in the long run, and in the long run it's going to help you down the line, of course you're going to sign off on it. You're not going to be like, you can't be like Shinsuke and going like, oh, I don't want to job to John Cena. Not make sense. I go home. No, you don't do that. You don't really do that at times, unless like Neville, you feel it's who you're jobbing out to is pretty much putting you and the company in a bad light. Then you don't do that. Point is, folks, what I'm trying to get at before I close this video is these indie darlings, these strong style darlings, these international indie darlings, they don't lose because WWE wants to bury them. They lose because they sign off on it. They agree to do it because they know in the long run it's going to build more momentum or heat for a wrestler. For Carmella, it builds more heelish heat for her if she has to cheat to win to beat someone like an Asuka twice. You get what I'm saying? It builds to something bigger for Asuka, and in exchange it builds to something bigger for Asuka down the line. Same with Nakamura. Did we see the Nakamura heel turn coming at Mania? No. But Nakamura losing to him, and Nakamura kind of like being on this downward in-between middle-ized spiral, is what helped out. That's basically what made Nakamura winning the Rumble and then kind of going back and forth on SmackDown, winning, losing, whatever, basically helped build his momentum to something bigger, to a bigger plan, and that bigger plan was the heel turn. You get what I'm saying, folks? You get what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, in the end, we may not agree with the decisions, but remember, the men and women that you consider either should be treated better or just leave and go back to Japan or Ring of Honor or whatever, the ones that you start rumors about walking out and stuff, they're the ones that they're the ones that agree and sign off to do the job. So remember that. So that's all I'm going to say, guys, on this subject. Let me know what you think down below. But again, why start these rumors when in the long run pretty much everybody knows they're not really true, especially if they're started by hardcore fans. Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like, and I'll talk to y'all later.